Alrighty, we are live. Here we go. Alrighty, yo, what up, everybody? It's your boy Fitzmonk TV here, aka G Lauren 33. I'm back here tonight with your Monday Night Raw review. Alrighty, it looks like we're back up and running, but yes, Clash of Champions is this Sunday. We had the go home show tonight on Monday Night Raw. We're going to talk about everything that happened tonight. As usual, before we get into anything, make sure to follow me on social media. I am live on social media. You know, you guys can talk to me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. All that stuff is down in the description down below. I'm pretty active over there, so if you guys want to talk about wrestling, you guys want to talk about sports with me, I am there down to talk whenever. Let me just fix my mouse. My mouse is acting up. I'm trying to get my notes all together. But Clash of Champions is this Sunday. Just want to make sure. I'm considering doing a live reaction to the show. I haven't done a live reaction in a while. Did we do live reaction? No, we did do live reaction for SummerSlam. I don't think we did live reactions for SummerSlam. So it's been a while since we've done live reactions on the channel to WWE pay per views. So I think the last one we did was WrestleMania. I think I remember I ended the WrestleMania reaction right after Sasha and Bailey lost the tag team championships to the Iconics. So I know it's been a while, but we're probably gonna bring that back this Sunday for Clash Champs. I'm actually kind of excited for this show, just because I'm very excited for Sasha versus Becky and Bailey versus Charlotte. And if we got anything based off of what we saw tonight, this show's gonna be a barn burner. But what up, Chris? What up, Joe? Good to see you guys back here tonight. But tonight's show wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. And I'm not gonna say it wasn't bad because of Stone Cold. I love Stone Cold. In my opinion, Stone Cold Steve Austin is the greatest of all time. Greatest of all time. But he did not make or break this show tonight. All right, he really didn't. Yes, I love seeing him every time. I love seeing him give a couple stunners, drink a couple beers. You know, clearly he still gets better reactions than anybody on the main roster. Madison Square Garden for most of the show tonight was pretty dead. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you guys. Madison Square Garden was not the best crowd tonight, but um thanks for all the support, Chris. But Stone Cold Steve Austin coming tonight disproves how much WWE does not put stock in its current roster of stars. It doesn't. Because look at it. Look at it. Stone Cold Steve Austin comes out tonight. He opens up the show. He gets the biggest reaction of the night by far. And if you compare that to anybody else, Seth Rollins, Braun Strowman, AJ Styles, even my favorite Sasha Banks and the rest of the Four Horsewomen, nobody else got a reaction even close to what Stone Cold Steve Austin got tonight. And why? Because WWE does not invest into stars like they did in the Attitude Era. They don't. Alright? Not even Seth Rollins or Roman Reigns, both who were on tonight's show, didn't get close to a reaction like Stone Cold. And those are arguably WWE's two biggest stars today. The two stars that WWE has put the most money into. And that's because WWE doesn't invest into its talent. WWE has the most talented roster it's ever had. And I say this every single week. But they refuse to invest in their talent. And when you don't invest in your talent, the product is going to suffer. And that should have been cleared. They did the same thing at the Raw reunion, which was like just a month ago when we had the Raw reunion. But WWE never listens. They never listen. But we'll talk about all that tonight on the podcast. But first off, we're going to start talking about the Four Horsewomen, all right? I know my boy, Anthony, a.k.a. Moose, my old podcast partner, he's probably out here watching just for this part, and then he'll head out. But just to let you guys know, my boy Moose, he has a podcast himself, not specifically wrestling. It's a podcast he does at his school. Hopefully, I remember to put the link in the description. Uh, Hopefully, Moose will remind me to do that. But he has a link every Sunday. I think he said from 10 to 12. He talks about sports, basically what's going on in the NFL, the NBA. And, go follow Moose on Instagram, AANT13. I believe that's his Instagram name. Very, very entertaining stuff. So if you guys want to listen to some sports podcasting, especially with my boy Moose, the link will be down in the description down below. Or just go to his social media, AANT13. But we're gonna get right into it. I'm going to start talking about Sasha Banks and the Four Horsewomen. Just before we get into that, I just want you guys to also know I'm not sure about if I'm going to have time to do a SmackDown Live review tomorrow night, but this Wednesday, we will be doing a Clash of Champions preview and predictions. All right. I haven't done one in a while, but I'm actually excited for Clash of Champions just because Sasha and Becky. I'm still hoping that's the main event, but we will be doing that on this coming Wednesday, if not Thursday, but most likely Wednesday, unless something comes up. So we'll be previewing Class Champions. I'll give you guys get into tonight's show. So focusing mainly on the Four Horsewomen. All right, the Four Horsewomen. I thought this was that ended the show. I didn't even watch the ending of that because I had to get some stuff done before we got into the review. So I don't understand why the Four Horsewomen didn't main event the show because honestly, I've said this for 4 weeks now. Out of everything that's happened, and Night of Champions has had a 5 week build since SummerSlam. 5 week build basically. The only match, the only match that I see on this card that is actually worthy of main eventing is Sasha Banks versus Becky Lynch. There's no other match on this card right now, in my opinion, that deserves the main event more than Sasha Banks and Becky. It's the best story being told on the main roster. And you could see that story being told in that tag team match we saw tonight. The Four Horsemen, they're being talked about a lot. They had an interview that came out the other day where each of the Four Horsemen talked about their beginnings in NXT, how they became the Four Horsemen, how they just wanted to be the best, and how, they've been the top of the barrel of the women's division for the last 4 years since they all came up from NXT. The Four Horsemen, also, you have WWE 2K20 coming out, where we know we're going to get the WWE 2K Showcase mode, telling the story of the Four Horsewomen through the WWE Women's Revolution. I can't wait to get my hands on that game so I can do a whole playthrough live on the channel for y'all. But basically, the match we saw tonight, Charlotte said in the interview that one day, one of her goals, since, those four together have accomplished so much in the last 4 years on the main roster. One of her goals that she wants is one day at WrestleMania, no matter if it's next year, a couple years from now, eventually somewhere down the line, she wants it to be Sasha versus Becky versus Bayley versus Charlotte, Fatal 4-Way to main event WrestleMania. I couldn't agree more. Imagine what we saw tonight in tag team action. Imagine those four going up against each other at the top of the game. Remember what they did in NXT all those years ago? They're even better than they were 5 years ago. And now, imagine a WrestleMania main event with those four women. What we saw tonight was special. This match should have main evented the show, and I still don't understand why it didn't. It was given the time. They were given the time to tell the story. They were given the time to let the crowd get invested into it. That match took up close to 30 minutes of the show. And yes, it seems like WWE is going back to the format where there's no wrestling during the commercial breaks. Because I could tell, at least during the first part of this match, they weren't wrestling during the commercial breaks. But WWE let these four women, the four best in the women's division right now, probably other than Asuka, all right, they let these four come out and tell their story. All right, no matter how you feel about Charlotte, no matter how much she's a robot on the mic, no matter what you say about it, when she comes out on the ring, she brings her A game. The only thing I have to complain about Charlotte tonight, really, is she has no idea how to do a moonsault. There was a part of this match where Charlotte, it looked like she was scared to fall on her face or her stomach, so she legit kind of botched her own moonsault because she didn't want to land and injure herself. Which I can understand, you don't want to get hurt. But if you're uncomfortable doing a moonsault, you shouldn't be doing it, period. Lacey Evans, who I believe is cringe and is get off my TV material, does a better moonsault than Charlotte. That's probably maybe the only thing I have to complain about this match. Really, is Charlotte's moonsault. Becky, I love the intensity she brought to this match. Bayley and Sasha, they work so well together. We haven't seen Bayley and Sasha team together since WrestleMania. And seeing Sasha and Bayley team up tonight makes me sit and think, once again, why did WWE take off the Women's Tag Team Champions from them? Why? They legit wanted to be Women's Tag Team Champions because they wanted to build up the brand, right? They wanted to make the Women's Tag Team Championships look special, defend them on Raw, defend them on SmackDown, defend them on NXT, defend them everywhere, right? Make them feel special. But WWE decided to take them off them just to get a cheap pop at WrestleMania. And they almost lost the greatest women's wrestler in the world in Sasha in the process. Alright? There's also rumors going around that Sasha re-signed a new deal with WWE today. Some of y'all were asking me on Twitter why didn't I report on it, because honestly I don't even know if those claims were actually true, because I did a video last year when news came out that Sasha re-signed. So I honestly don't know right now. Once I get some actual confirmation, all right, then I'll make a follow-up video on that. All right, but I'm not gonna get really into that. At least not on this podcast. At least not tonight. Not on tonight's show. But when focusing on what we saw tonight between Sasha, Bayley, Becky, and Charlotte, the chemistry's always been there between those four women. It's like natural chemistry when those two get in the ring. And then Sasha and Bayley, they haven't dropped off at all as a tag team. They should still be Women's Tag Team Champions today. Alexa and Nikki weren't even on the show tonight because you know WWE, they don't want to have Alexa wrestle that often. Like, what? These four went out and destroyed the show. Absolutely burned the house down. No pun intended to Seth Rollins. But this was a great match. And I'm not even mad with the outcome. I honestly thought they were going to end the match in some kind of DQ fuck finish. No. They let these four women go out for 20, 25, close to 30 minutes and put their hearts and souls on the line and show you why they're the four best in this industry at the top of the women's division. Great match. Absolutely great match. And it's not, Moose texted me and she said it's not hard to steal the show because it's Monday Night Raw. I agree. But still, on any show, NXT, Raw, SmackDown, this match would have been the main, on any other show, this match would have been your main event. There was nothing that you'll see that you saw tonight on Raw. Probably nothing that you'll see tomorrow night on SmackDown Live, or not even, probably nothing on even, as much as I love NXT, I don't think anything on NXT this week could top what we saw in the ring between Sasha, Bayley, Becky, and Charlotte tonight. That match was pure magic. You had the crowd chanting, "This is awesome," multiple times throughout the match because, yes, this match was awesome. And I'm not even mad at the decision. Like I said before, I thought the match was going to end in a fuck finish. I thought the match would end in some kind of DQ. It actually didn't. We got a clean finish tonight. I'm not that mad about it. Charlotte pinned Bayley after hitting natural selection, and I'm not mad. All right, because one thing is, if you had Charlotte or Becky pin Sasha, that's different. That's different. Because Sasha's, arguably out of these four women, Sasha has the most momentum going to Clash of Champions. Sasha's been booked strongly since she's returned. And yes, even though she's going to take the loss with Bayley on the match card, there's no way you're going to have Sasha be pinned or submitted in the ring before Clash of Champions. Absolutely no way. Because Sasha needs to win at Clash of Champions more than anybody. Because if Sasha doesn't win at Clash of Champions, not only will you see me give one of the rants of the century, but it basically everything that's happened since Sasha came back would be worthless. Having Sasha come back to attack Natalya, having Sasha come back attack Becky multiple times, having Sasha come back to reunite with Bayley, all that would be pointless. Pointless. Alright? It would honestly be pointless. So I'm not mad that Sasha and Bayley took the L tonight. Honestly, because Charlotte and Becky, they need to also be look strong. Becky's still Raw Women's Champion, even though she's most likely losing that championship, because Becky's been advertised. We know there's going to be another WWE draft coming up in the next couple weeks with the deal the Fox finally coming full circle. So Becky Lynch has been highly advertised for SmackDown Live. So it seems like once we get this WWE draft that's gonna happen in a couple weeks, I'm expecting Becky Lynch to be sent over to SmackDown Live. I don't know what that means for Bayley and Charlotte. I would expect Sasha to probably stay on Raw because she's probably gonna win the Raw Women's Championship, and either Bayley or Charlotte, one of those two, will be sent to Raw along to be alongside Sasha. Alright, if I had to make a choice, it would probably most likely be Bayley to be sent over the Raw, just because I think and I've done multiple videos on this in the last couple of weeks. I think where this whole story is going to lead to is eventually Sasha versus Bayley at WrestleMania for the Raw Women's Championship. That's what I think. Alright, but we still have a very long way to go before we get to WrestleMania. But that's where I see the end game of this huge story being. But back to the match. Great match. Charlotte wins with natural selection. I have no complaints on the finish of this match. Alright, as long as Sasha wins on Sunday. I expect Bayley to beat Charlotte. It's gonna be interesting because the way they have it, they have Charlotte basically playing more of a tweener. She's a little more heel than babyface, but the thing is, there was moments in the match tonight where Charlotte was teasing babyface and then teasing heel. So I'm not gonna lie, Charlotte, she works more as a heel, but I don't mind Charlotte as a babyface, to be honest. All right, Bayley, you know, Bayley's interesting because she got absolutely no reaction tonight. Like she didn't get booed, she didn't get cheered at all. She did not get that much of a reaction, so I don't know. And the thing I can see what they're doing. Bayley's heel turn, Bayley. It's like Bayley's not accepting her heel side because deep down she believes what she's doing is right, which can be used as a heel tactic. But I don't know. My problem is they still have Bayley coming out with the her inflatables. She's still coming up with the hugger theme. Like, no, if we're gonna go all the way with a Bayley heel turn, she needs to get rid of the ponytail. She needs to get rid of the whole hugger mentality. Like, no more like I'm a hugger on her Tron or on her trunks. Like, no, you need to get some black gear. You need to start wearing some black eyeshadow. Like, take off the ponytail, put your hair down. Like, show us this new attitude. Show us how much of a badass you can actually be. Show us that. Like, come on. Like, I'm gonna not believe in a Bayley heel turn if you continue this whole hugger stuff. Like, no, you're gonna go with a Bayley heel turn. You gotta go all the way. And yes, I can understand it's tough because the fans aren't really booing Bayley and Sasha. All right, they're not, and I can tell Sasha's trying her hardest to try to get booed, but it's just not working right now. And it's not Sasha's fault. It's just that the fans love her so much that they want to cheer. They want to see Sasha succeed. They don't want to boo her. But at this point, at least try to have them viewed as tweeners. All right, if you really can't have them be booed. All right, don't turn Sasha back into a babyface just because he's getting cheered. All right, try to keep her as a heel. All right, that's what I would do. And Bayley's gonna continue to get cheered unless you actually give us a new Bayley. All right, what Sasha's doing is fine. It's Bayley that's the problem because you're having her be a heel, or you're trying to make her look like a heel, but instead she still looks like a babyface 90% of the time. Like, come on, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense whatsoever. But that's my thoughts on Bayley, Sasha, Becky, and Charlotte. They burned the house down. Easily the best match of the night. All right, and hopefully, I'm about 90% sure. Hopefully this Sunday, Sasha Banks will win the Raw Women's Championship. Bayley, I want to say she's gonna, I want to say she's gonna retain the SmackDown Women's Championship, but I have no idea with this whole WWE draft going on. We'll just have to wait and see. Now getting into it, we're gonna talk about the Stone Cold Steve Austin and being the moderator for the Seth Rollins and Braun Strowman contract signing. I talked a little bit early in the show how I didn't like, and how basically every time they have Stone Cold or The Rock or The Undertaker, like we'll see on SmackDown Live tomorrow night, these are superstars that are over the moon over. Like nothing they do, nothing they do can get them booed in any way. They are that over with the crowd because WWE spent money investing into their superstars during the Attitude Era. All right, now you look at it. Like I said earlier, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose when he was there. All right, it doesn't matter. They don't get the same reactions as Stone Cold Steve Austin. Not even it's nowhere close because WWE doesn't spend any time investing into the talent they actually do. They don't. They don't push their superstars the way they should. They don't book them the way they should. They don't put the money in. They get the fans over to get the fans invested into these talents. Look at Seth Rollins was getting booed tonight. He was getting booed during that contract signing because WWE fans today are much smarter than fans of the past. They really are. Other than the stupid casuals out there, most of WWE's audience is longtime viewers that actually know their shit about wrestling. Alright, Stone Cold came out today and he told some stories about some of his favorite moments in MSG, like him versus Bret the Hitman Hart, him versus The Undertaker at SummerSlam, the first time he stunned Vince McMahon, etc., etc., etc. Going a little trip down memory lane. I could spend hours just watching YouTube clips of Stone Cold Steve Austin promos and Stone Cold Steve Austin matches and segments from back in the day. Man, I love Stone Cold. Love him. Then he brings out Strowman and brings out Seth. And the way, they're making Seth look more like an idiot every single week. Alright? They claim that they're trying to make Seth Rollins look cool, but he doesn't look cool at all. The guy looks like an idiot. Alright? Your Seth Braun Strowman comes out there, he tries to shake Stone Cold Steve Austin's hand. Stone Cold ignores him at first. But Seth Rollins comes out, and then after both Seth and Strowman are out there, that's when Stone Cold proceeds to shake Strowman and Rollins' hand, and then they get to the contract. But the thing about it is, Strowman and Stone Cold were like, Stone Cold's like, I'm here for business. Let's get to this contract signing, all right? Let's get that. That's why I'm here. Let's get down to it. But then Seth Rollins, instead of signing the contract right away, he's like, yeah, we'll get to that, man. But he's like legit sitting there sucking Stone Cold off. Legit. He's over there sucking Stone Cold off. And I'm getting here pissed off like, really? Really? Like, a lot of people thought they were going to have Stone Cold there to suck Seth Rollins off. Remember the night after SummerSlam when Michael Cole interviewed Stone Cold via Skype? Like, what? But no, instead they had Seth Rollins sucking Stone Cold off. Even Strowman did a little bit of it. But Strowman actually kind of made it look cool. They made Strowman look more cool than Rollins. When WWE's been trying to make Rollins look more cool than anybody else. Strowman said the quote, one of the greatest of all times, you know, oh yeah, he said at Clash of Champions, I'ma open up a can of whoop ass and you're gonna get these hands. Which was actually kinda catchy, not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. But for the most part, most of this segment was just cringe because it was just Strowman, or not even Strowman, it was mostly Rollins trying to kiss up the Stone Cold. I'm like, huh? There was a point in this where Seth Rollins started trying to get what chance? He started pausing after each one of his sentences and then saying what? And trying to, and the crowd was saying what, but they didn't say the same way they would say the Stone Cold. I'm like, Seth, do your own thing. Stop trying to be like Stone Cold. Like, come on. And then Seth Rollins is out there, saying, oh yeah, we're in New York City, we're in Madison Square Garden, etc., etc., etc. I'm like, Seth, shut up. And then there was a point where Seth was like, I'm the best wrestler in the world. At Clash of Champions, I'm going to continue to prove that. And Seth actually got booed. He actually got booed there for a sec. So, I don't know. Instead of making Seth look like an over-the-top babyface, WWE's making Seth look like more of an idiot day by day. But after the contract signing, you had Styles and the OC come out, and I actually enjoyed this because at the end of this, I was like, if Stone Cold ever does come back, give me Stone Cold versus AJ Styles. That's all I want. That's all I want. Give me Stone Cold versus AJ Styles, man. Stone Cold and AJ were going back and forth, and I loved it. There was a point where AJ was getting some legit heat. AJ told Stone Cold this shit up many times. The crowd kept chanting asshole, dumbass, all these other chants. The AJ Styles. There was a point where AJ Styles started imitating Stone Cold. It was pretty damn funny. But the OC get in the ring. This ignites a brawl between Strowman and Rollins. And at the end of it, we see AJ. He looks like he gets the upper hand on Strowman and Rollins, but he walks right into a Stone Cold Stunner straight off the top. Easily looking crisp like it's the Attitude Era. Afterwards, Stone has a couple of Steve Weisers, and that's how the segment ends. And I just walked out. I didn't, like I said, I don't care about Strowman versus Rollins at Clash of Champions. I really don't. I don't even know if I'm going to spend time watching the match. All right. Honestly, I might just have it played on the background while I do homework or something. I don't know. But, Stone Cold, one thing I got out of this whole segment is mostly the banter between Styles and Stone Cold. I absolutely loved it. All right, I loved it. It makes me want a Stone Cold versus AJ Styles match. That's really what I got out of this, in my opinion. But after Stone Cold hits the stunner on Cedric, we come back from commercial and we have Cedric Alexander versus AJ Styles, and we kind of saw where this was coming after last week. We saw Alexander get eliminated from the King of the Ring against Baron Corbin. Remember, before that match, we saw the OC attack Cedric Alexander beforehand. Basically, the whole point is if Cedric could beat Styles tonight, he would get a U.S. title opportunity. That match is probably still going to happen either way because Styles still doesn't have a worthy challenger for a Clash of Champions, so that's probably the match we're going to get. But this match ended in disqualification because the OC gets involved, getting Cedric the win via disqualification, and then the Viking Raiders come out. So we finally see a little bit of continuation. You guys remember a couple weeks ago when we had that awful tag team gauntlet match. We saw the OC and the Viking Raiders brawl it out, and both teams got themselves disqualified and eliminated from that tournament. 2 weeks later, this should have probably happened more last week, but 2 weeks later, we see the Viking Raiders, brawl with the OC, and it looks like the Viking Raiders are finally babyface. For the longest time, ever since Mania, it seemed like WWE was struggling to figure out if they wanted the Raiders as heel or if they wanted them as babyface. But now we're for certain the Viking Raiders are baby faces. All right, but they brawl. The Viking Raiders and Cedric Alexander, they stand tall, and that is that. This would lead to the 10-man tag team match we got at the end of the show. Another good match we had on the show tonight. We had Rey Mysterio versus Grand Metalik, and this is something I want to see more of. All right, more of this. I just want to see two superstars go at each other. All right, have a good match because that builds rankings, that builds momentum, and then down the line when we're looking for people like AJ Styles, for people like Seth Rollins, when they're looking for who's going to be the next challengers for their championships, we can see, oh wait, look at Rey Mysterio, man. He's picking up victories. He's picking up momentum. Maybe he should be the next one in line for a title opportunity. I like this. I still want to see Rey Mysterio versus AJ Styles. I would, as much as I love Cedric Alexander, and I think Cedric Alexander versus Styles will be a damn good match at Clash of Champions, all right, I want to see a feud between Rey Mysterio versus AJ Styles. That's a match we've been waiting for years to see, and I don't see why WWE hasn't pulled the trigger on it yet. Hopefully we see that, especially with Styles as U.S. champion. But Styles versus Grand Metalik, this was a great match. There was high-flying action. It was very fast-paced. There was a couple of bumps where I got concerned for Rey Mysterio. There was a point in this match when Rey was on the outside of the ring, and then Grand Metalik flew over the top rope and landed right on Mysterio. It looked like Mysterio either hit his ear or part of his head. I was really concerned, but Mysterio was able to shake it off and do the rest of the match. Mysterio won with the 619, but very good match. Very good showcase for Grand Metalik. Hopefully this leads to eventually Mysterio and Styles going up against each other. Like I said, that's a feud that you can do for the rest of the year, right there. Styles and Mysterio. Those matches would be incredible to see. But really enjoyed what we saw tonight. It was Mysterio and Grand Metalik. That match delivered nicely. Nicely. This is the kind of match we should be seeing on Cruiserweight on 205 Live. But the thing is, people don't care about 205 Live. And it's understandable why. But next up, we had the King of the Ring semifinals, triple threat, Samoa Joe versus Corbin versus Ricochet. And, there's been reports going off that Vince McMahon is highly above Baron Corbin. And Baron Corbin, he might be probably one of the most legit heels in WWE because fans legit don't like him. Don't like him. As for some reason, tonight there was chance for most of that triple threat match. There was chance for we love Corbin. No, we don't. All right, Corbin has some legit go away heel heat because people just don't want to see him win, and I'm getting really tired of this. Baron Corbin, how many times has he been pushed since 2016 when he first got up to the main roster? How many times has he been pushed? Let's be serious. He had a push on SmackDown Live. Remember when he was like United States Champion for like all of 2 months, right? He got pushed. He won the Money in the Bank briefcase. They stopped that push. Remember Jinder Mahal defeated him. Then, they pushed him on Monday Night Raw as the Raw GM. Or Constable Corbin. You guys remember that? Alright? Then they ended that. Then they pushed him again, having him challenge Seth Rollins for 3 straight pay-per-views, which really hurt the main roster after WrestleMania. Probably was the worst feud one of the worst feuds we've seen all year. Alright, like, what up, Junior? But one of the worst feuds we've seen all year. Like, come on. Like, how many times are they going to push Corbin? If you're going to push Corbin, you need to go all the way. You got to go all the way. Stop with these start and stop pushes. I don't like Corbin, to be honest. I don't. The best thing about Corbin is probably his finisher, the end of days. That's it. But this was a good match. Not going to lie, it was a good match. Most of these matches in the King of the Ring have been really good. WWE has given time for these matches to shine. But still, man, Ricochet, I kind of want to see Ricochet versus Chad Gable in the final round, but hey, sure, Junior, put the link in the description or something, or in the comment section. But this was a good match. I feel bad for Ricochet. Ricochet hit his finisher on Joe, but I knew where it was going because early on in the match, Samoa Joe took Corbin out at ringside with the Coquina clutch, but you have to win the match inside the ring. So Corbin was out on the outside. Ricochet and what up, Ultimate Gamer? But Ricochet and Joe, they're fighting in the ring, and Ricochet hits his finisher on Joe out of nowhere as he goes for the pin. Corbin, takes Ricochet out of the match, throws him above the barricade, goes for the pin. 1, 2, 3, and that's it. That's it for Ricochet. Corbin gets the victory. It's weird, They have Ricochet. I mean, I honestly don't know. Honestly, I think Ricochet should be near the main event, competing with people like Seth Rollins for the Universal Championship. That's how good Ricochet is. I don't know why, Ricochet keeps getting... Because honestly, in my opinion, Ricochet should have never lost the United States Championship. As much as I love AJ Styles, Ricochet should have never lost that championship. And now look at him. He made it this far in King of the Ring just to lose. Like, hey, what was the point of last week? Last week you had The whole controversial finish between Joe and Ricochet that set up this triple threat match for this week. And even though this match was really good, tonight on Raw, what was the point if the whole time you're planning to have Corbin win? Legit, you look at it now. We have Elias versus Chad Gable tomorrow night on SmackDown Live. Chad Gable has to win. Because no way is anybody going to, first of all, no one's going to care to see heel versus heel in the finals of the King of the Ring. Nobody's going to care to see Elias versus Baron Corbin. Two, get off my TV, worthy superstars in my opinion. Alright? So, Chad Gable's definitely going to win against Elias tomorrow night. So, Chad Gable's legit our only hope. They haven't announced that the King of the Ring tournament or the King of the Ring final is going to be at Clash Champions. You know, that would be the ideal place to put it. All right, and no, well, Mickie James, she's injured right now. I don't know what her injury is, but that's the reason why we haven't seen her on WWE television for most of the year. All right, but with the whole situation there, I don't see, because right now Clash Champions is it's a pretty full card. I don't see where they're gonna have time to put a good 20-minute King of the Ring finals match, unless it's on the pre-show, unless it's to open the show. I just don't see where they're gonna have time to fit all this. This is why I don't agree with them doing Roman Reigns versus Eric Rowan. Like, why? Why? This pay-per-view is about championships, not about stupid feuds that no one cares about. Like I don't understand why they made that decision. But Corbin, the guy gets heel here. I'll legit say that. It's gonna make us want to see Chad Gable beat Corbin even more. And I'm rooting for Chad Gable. I've been saying this since last week after when Gable beat Andrade. I'm rooting for Gable because Gable can wrestle. Gable can really wrestle, and this King of the Ring tournament is actually showcasing his skills. Do I think Daniel Bryan will turn babyface? Honestly, it's 50-50. I read earlier this week that Bryan is that they're still planning to do Bryan versus Reigns at some point. So if you're gonna do that, you're gonna keep Bryan as a heel. Alright, maybe they just had Rowan do that just to make it clear that him and Bryan aren't aligned anymore. But it made it, after what we saw last night. I thought they made Bryan into a babyface. But I was thinking, why would he turn Bryan into a babyface? He doesn't need it. He was doing some of the best work we've ever seen him do this year as a heel, when he was WWE champion, when he was tag team champion, etc., etc., etc. So we'll have to wait till tomorrow night to see where they're going with Bryan. All right, right now he looks more like a tweener, but I would keep Bryan as a heel going forward. I don't mind babyface Bryan, but the guy's just doing so great as a heel. I just don't understand why you would turn him back into a babyface unless you have some other plan for him. Alright, we're about to end this show because these last two matches I didn't care about at all. Natalya versus Lacey Evans. This was just a rematch of last week's match. Natalya won with the sharpshooter. Who cares? Waste of time. We had the 10-man tag team main event, and basically, they had Stone Cold Steve Austin come out at the end of the show. It wasn't a bad match. All right, but I'm not a big fan of these big 10-people tag team matches. I'm really not. My limit is a 6-man tag team match. When you get anything above 6, I just start being like, ugh. Because we all know what's going to happen at the end of the match. When you have that many superstars out there, it's just every superstar hitting their finisher on each other. With whoever's the last two in the ring, they the ones who decide who's going to win. And basically, but this basically confirms that Clash Champions will be getting Styles versus Alexander, because Alexander caught Styles with the lumbar check to get a clean win over AJ Styles. And at the end of the show, we see Stone Cold Steve Austin come back, and he celebrates. And you can see, once again, no matter, you have all those babyfaces out there. You have the Raiders, you have Alexander, you have two big babyfaces in Strowman and Rollins. But instead, just Stone Cold's mere presence makes them all look like little kitty cats compared to him, with the kind of ovations that Stone Cold gets. But that's how the show ended. Honestly, it wasn't a bad show. The highlights of the show clearly the King of the Ring match. Even though I'm praying that we're not about to get a break or not a Baron Corbin, Universal title run, because usually whoever wins King of the Ring is set towards a championship match, yeah, a major championship match. We also had Bray Wyatt's Firefly Funhouse, which I always enjoy. Love it like usual. But clearly, once again, it makes me not care even less. I don't give a damn about Rollins versus Strowman at Class Champions because we know whoever wins is just gonna be a pawn for Wyatt to win the WWE Championship, or the I mean my bad. It's gonna be a pawn for Wyatt to win the Universal Championship at Hell in a Cell. But King of the Ring match was great tonight. Grand Metalik versus Rey Mysterio was enjoyable, and clearly what should have been the main event in my opinion, Sasha and Bayley against Charlotte versus Becky, was absolutely phenomenal. Other than that, that's all I got for you guys today. I want to thank you guys for coming through to the review. Hope you guys enjoyed. Like I said before, I don't know if I'll have a SmackDown Live review tomorrow night. Ultimate Gamer, what's my favorite tag team currently? Sasha Banks and Bayley. All right, for the woman, and on the men, it would be the Usos, or the Usos on Raw and the New Day on SmackDown. I love the Usos, and the Undisputed Era are my favorite tag team on NXT. I love the Street Profits, but they still haven't wrestled yet on the main roster. Maybe after Clash Champions, we'll start seeing the Street Profits actually being used. That could be a real big face tag team. But now that I think about it, where have the Usos been? Raw has a decent tag team division. You have the Usos, you have the OC, you have the Viking Raiders. You have Ziggler and Rude. Even though I don't know how long they'll stay a tag team, you have Rollins and Strowman. You have teams in there. We haven't seen the Usos since Raw reunion when they had that segment with John Cena. So I don't know. Now that I think about it, where are the Usos? Somebody put them on a milk carton. But like I said tonight, best match of the night goes easily to Sasha and Bayley against Charlotte versus Becky. Should have been the main event in my opinion. But yeah, like I said before, I'm not sure if I'll have a SmackDown Live review tomorrow. We'll have to wait and see. But definitely, no matter what, either Wednesday or Thursday, most likely Wednesday, I'll have a Clash Champions preview and prediction show where we'll go over all the matches of Clash Champions. I'll give you guys what I think of each match and who I think will win and why. Make sure to follow me on social media if you guys want to talk wrestling, talk sports, talk anime, talk anything. Make sure to follow me down there. Have some lot of cool stuff coming to the channel. Make sure to have notifications enabled by clicking the bell next to my name, Fitzmonk TV, so you guys are notified every time I post a new video. Thank you guys once again. I'll see you guys later. Have a great night, guys. Peace.